Aloha, y'all. You might be asking yourself, where's the tapestry? Why is this video being posted so early? My family is going on a car trip at 7 a.m., and I usually do these things like 9. We'll be out checking out foliage, like driving around. It's starting to change the season here in high country Colorado, so it's 5:30, and I'm doing this now. And I kind of diverse it up so I don't wake up the rest of my family. Hopefully it all pans out. So today is Saturn's Day, ruled by Saturn, Saturday, right? The 26th of September. It is a heart chakra day, which I'll show you in a second. Well, I'll show you now, I guess. I've got all this stuff on my bed. It's a little haphazard, but we'll make it work. Heart chakra day, Anahata chakra. So if you're going to be doing chakras, do them all, but heart chakra specifically today. And Yam, Y-A-M, Yam. Do the mudras, do the mantras. See how it works. It really does work quite well. It's a red crystal dragon day in the dream spell, guided by space. So for what it's worth, that is what's up. Let's go ahead and pull some cards. Wow, I didn't really set up for this. It's way over on my side. But, like I said, we shall overcome. Hopefully y'all are doing alright. I'd never get up this early. 5 is when I woke up, so let's see what wants to pop. And such. This won't be a regular angle / time. We've got the 4 of Wands. This actually has psilocybin mushrooms on it. The 4 of Wands. Let me get my book, y'all. And today is a Wands day. I'm just realizing something. Yeah, it's 5:30. Never up this early. So 4 of Wands. You'd think I would be ready for this, but because I'm having to sit at a weird angle on my bed with things everywhere, including my guitar, which I'll probably play. Yeah, the sun is in Libra, the moon is in Aquarius right now, so it's a whole lot of air energy going on. 4 of Wands, setting the stage for celebration. Communicate and build your pillars of relationship. Achieve a beautiful balance. Very relative to the Libra season here. Mercury's still in Libra, so it's about balance, harmony, and setting the stage for celebration with others. That's why there's another person on here. Balance and harmony in relationships. Showing the flower of life, where we're all connected and a node on the flower of life, that kind of thing. So 4 of Wands. I enroll others in the strength of my vision. And with the moon in Aquarius, we do have vision to include others. Aquarius is about teamwork, right? It's kind of like the sorting hat in a sense. So it's like, are you Jedi or are you Sith? Are you Antifa or are you QAnon? That kind of sorting is happening right now. So people are finding their visions right now, and with the highest level of mind, goes Gemini, Libra, Aquarius in terms of height and intensification or individuation in terms of air. And with the sun in Libra, it's a middle space for air as well as Mercury there. And then we go to the moon with Aquarius. It's a whole lot of refined air. We're in space kind of right now and dealing with others, with our visions. But it's coming from the heart. Today's a heart chakra day, so it's including others in our visions. And there's even heart chakra green back in the background, right? Mushrooms take off your ego and open up your heart. That kind of vibes. I enroll others in the strength of my vision. The 4 of Wands is about creating empowering and potentializing relationships and establishing strong physical and emotional foundations upon which to build a life. In the card artwork, a futuristic couple walk hand in hand across a walkway. Futuristic, very Aquarius moon. At their feet, and a couple, Libra sun, right? At their feet, we can notice a crack in the structure which indicates they are together, but there is space in their togetherness. That's so Aquarius moon. They're together, but they're still individual. Like it's aloof and separate in a weird way, but still unified in a team. The 4 of Wands representing the 4 pillars of life, relationship / love, body/physical, purposeful work, and spiritual development float on either side of the couple. It can be said that your life is as strong as your weakest pillar. Therefore, the ultimate key is to achieve balance. Libra Sun. Building the pillar of relationships, for example, means that you have people in your life who recognize and perhaps even identify with your talents, gifts, and potential. They help you create the conditions for honesty, acknowledging your strengths and assisting you in seeing and addressing your weaknesses, giving feedback, as difficult as this can be, in a way that helps you to evolve. The physical pillar is concerned with health, your positive, life-affirming connection to your body, the sacred vessel which carries you through life. I should say this is on page 108. That's a Buddhist holy number. It not only concerns the ways you give it nourishment and sustenance, but the activities that enliven and build its healing power and strength. It too addresses the physical environment of your home, which provides the sanctuary and rest, in which to rest, nurture, and reinvigorate yourself with life. Just like today, we're doing a reinvigorating thing by waking up really early and going on a trip to check out this fall, turning of the leaves. The purposeful pillar is built on shaping and purposely using your talents and abilities in the cause of something to not only inspire and empower, but but inspires and enlivens others. Both and. It's you and others. That's Libra Sun, right? And then Aquarius Moon is like, what is my vision? What is my genius? How can I be my genius self and include it in a vision of the world, the galaxy? In return, receiving money and resources to further sustain and develop your gifts. The final spiritual pillar is created and built through the knowledge, discipline, and commitment to conscious spiritual practices such as meditation and prayer, journeying, and the sacred arts. If we become overinvested in one area, out of balance, Libra Sun, stuffs, the structure becomes unstable. The four pillars can be viewed as the support of a bridge which leads from the head or mind to the heart. So we're going from ajna to our heart chakras. Love, strength, insight, and logic can travel between the head and the heart, creating an open exchange, a unified being. In the artwork, the couple are looking intently at one another, communicating a depth of relationship, commitment, and togetherness. Behind them, we see a tall building with a golden flower of life geometry rising up the middle, denoting the power of creation and the rich interconnectedness of life. The imposing architectural structure they are walking on tells us this relationship is backed by the power of something established. We are witnessing a marriage or a ceremony of union. Their relationship has been witnessed. Very Libra Sun. The Four of Wands invites you to look at the structure of your life as a whole, from the bird's eye perspective, from that Aquarius Moon energy. It's like get your emotional growth and satisfaction today is going to come from feeling like an engineer with a schematic of your whole life, kind of like engineering your life. So it invites you to look at the structure, the schematic of your life as a whole from the bird's eye perspective. Practically all of us will have pillars or aspects of how we live that are weaker, compromising the integrity of what we wish to build. What pillar of yours needs care and attention? This card points to the possibility of achieving a beautiful balance, Libra, beauty, Venus-ruled Libra, balance, scales, steadily working away at each aspect of your life and sharing your experiences with those you love and respect. Enrolling others with the vision you have of yourself inspires them to live their lives. It's very Aquarius Moon. It's doing your genius, doing what you're here to do, like popping off hard and being that firework that causes others to go, but it's including them in the process. So Four of Wands, setting the stage for celebration, like I just said, fireworks. Communicate and build your pillars of relationship and achieve a beautiful balance. That ultimate Tao harmony, right? So today's going to be a good day. I mean, not that any days are bad, but like today is a day to work from an intellectual space in a relational space, essentially, emotionally integrous place of the heart in terms of the pillars of your reality and how they affect and interconnect with those that you call family and friends around you, society, etc. So let's go ahead and get, oh my gosh, there's going to be a whole lot of stretching awkwardly here. I should have set this up in a much different manner, but you learn, right? Let's get a Dreams of Gaia card. So if I ever have to do a ghetto improvised reading from my bed, which is where I usually do my I Ching. I do a daily hexagram. I post on Facebook. as well as a Brian-Froud Fairy Oracle card for the evening, for the Astral Guide. That comes from this spot at my room, but never do I do the Daily Card Jam here, so even playing music is going to be interesting. So we have the Crone as the card, page 50. Cool. The Crone, hopefully y'all can see that, and it's not too reflective. I know the lighting is all weird. The Crone, feminine power, fearlessness, authenticity, individuality, independence. Those are very Aquarius moon themes. New purpose, freedom, Aquarius moon, self, shadow self. Key phrase is the woman who understands her true nature. Be aware of your choices. Being aware of how to balance your choices, right? Libra Sun and Libra in Mercury. Be unafraid to walk your path alone. Right now with Mars in retrograde in Aries, we're having to figure out what our path is and how we do it. But with it being in retrograde, we're like not sure of what to do. A life of your own design. Once again, design is very Aquarius. Untapped power and potential. A fertile and productive future. A childless state. I might sneeze. Hold on. Excuse me. Be unbowed and unapologetic. Respect and cherish your elders. That was tapping into the pillars of family and community, right? And the hexagram I pulled, just so you guys get how synchronistic this already is kinship. So your family and relationships. I didn't pull it for here, but earlier. Respect and cherish your elders. A direct and forthright approach is needed. Do what's necessary, not what's expected. So being chaotic and revolutionary, very Aquarius moon. But still being beautiful and responsible with your elders and others, Libra Sun. It is time to be fierce and fight back. The Crone symbolizes a proud and mature woman aging who is no longer influenced by a need to reproduce or parental responsibilities. She may be approaching or have reached a stage in her life where her menstrual cycles have slowed or ceased, but she is no longer true to the Crone archetype of old that is often depicted by Western society. The nature of the Crone has evolved with the times. She's the wise woman who is like nature, wild, still, passionate, volatile, calm, peaceful, adaptable, and flowing, creative and powerful. She is everything she chooses to be. She is a woman who is aware of her choices, Libra Sun, and may well have transitioned from maiden to Crone without feeling any need or desire to be a mother. Very Aquarius moon. It's like, I'm independent, I do what I want. The Crone is unafraid of being alone or walking her path alone. Once again, Aquarius moon. After centuries of being made an outcast and no longer being seen as having a functional role within society because her childbearing days are over, the Crone has learned to look after her own needs. She has, by necessity, become a strong and independent individual who has found new purpose. Her life is full, has meaning and direction, and is a life of her own design. So her pillars, like the first card, the Four of Wands, are stable and secure. Established pillars, right? She knows her role in the flower of life. The Crone is comfortable in her own skin and free of artifice and pretense. She is mature, honest, aware, and wise. She is both understanding and compassionate, but speaks and acts with a directness that some may find intimidating. Super Aquarius moon. The Crone can be quick to hug and offer support, Libra Sun, but she can also be blunt and is unafraid to deliver a tough love message if she feels it is needed. Aquarius moon, I'm going to stop emphasizing those points. You get the idea. It's very resonant. At times, this can give her an appearance of cruelty and ruthlessness, or aloofness, but while the Crone is not a hard woman, she can be tough and unwilling to embrace other people's illusions. That's what happens when you have that moon in Aquarius. We have that high vision where it's like we don't deal with the bullshit and the drama. Libra season can be kind of drama because it's people, and Gemini season, because it's people dealing with each other on a very infantile level as Gemini, adulting or whatever, but then you transcend and become transpersonal with the Aquarius moon. So we're feeling that. This is why some will always be quick to vilify the Crone. She could be depicted as cruel, hard, wicked, and selfish hag. And the very fact that she is both unrepentant and unwilling to be what society expects her to be, the rebellion in society, Aquarius moon stuffs, expects her to be, may make her a target for those who are slaves to society's dictates as well as those who impose society's dictates. But the Crone is also very gentle and kind. She's loving, supportive, and nurturing. Every face she wears is her true face, but the face she wears will be the one that she feels is needed at the time. She is who needs. She is who she knew. Oh God, I can't speak. She is who she needs to be when she needs to be. This is why the crone is often portrayed as a woman who is past her prime, wrinkled and ugly. If she is made to believe that she is useless, she can be controlled. If the crone can become aware of her potential and power, she is a force to be reckoned with. The crone symbolizes the emergence of a mature woman who sees herself as being in her prime, with many fertile, productive, and creative years ahead of her. She is a woman who embraces her true power and potential. So that's very resonant with just the situation, like I kept repeating, with the moon, right, in Aquarius. Very, very resonant. So let's go ahead and get a Galactic Heritage card. Got the sniffles from that sneeze. What wants to pop? This may be the most uncomfortable reading I've ever done. Kind of having to crouch and cower. We've got Guilt 41. That's definitely something with the Aquarius moon. We can come into a position of our emotions, our guilt, and see them objectively from a higher perspective. And with the sun in Libra, we can bring into balance, acceptance and guilt. Like sometimes we should feel bad for what we've done and process that and then get over it. Ultimately not holding on to guilt, which is, I'm sure, what this card will say. So 41. Past timeline, Pleiades, number 41, Guilt. In the ancient days, well-intentioned actions by Pleiadians ended up causing a whole planet to be destroyed. Womp womp. Talk about guilt. Since that time, they have had a tremendous amount of grief and guilt as a species. They have healed a lot since then, but many humans still carry these patterns. Look deeply at the things in your life you feel guilty about. The wisdom, like the crone, the wisdom you've gathered, right? The wisdom you now have can create compassion in your heart. Let the compassion flood the wounded part of you. Let the love from the universe fill the part of you where the guilt still lives. Let it go. Let it go. All is forgiven by the universe. Now you must forgive yourself, right? Building those pillars in the Four of Wands. It's getting into right relationship and harmony with yourself, and guilt can sometimes prevent that. Sometimes, if you're cavalier and don't give a fuck about what you're doing, some guilt goes a long way. But that's a different season than if you're living in guilt and you need to forgive yourself. Commentary. This card is very connected to card 40 and references something that happened in the Palladian past for which they still carry a tremendous amount of guilt. Even though this card references a specific incident in the Palladian past, it is also a very archetypal card because most humans deep inside have a sense of guilt that stops them from living fully and accepting love and joy in their reality. It is a nagging feeling of not deserving love, abundance, and joy, and feeling selfish for accepting it. I've struggled with this my whole life. This nagging feeling is often unconscious and can only be seen through deep self-examination. Aquarius moon, deep, insightful, piercing, emotional, into self essentially, examination. Religions often play on this human condition of guilt, and by reinforcing it, some religions can keep humans under control and believing in the way of the religion as the only thing that can absolve that guilt. That's kind of a passive-aggressive jab at religion, but the truth is that we have all fragmented from the source, and underlying all the physical lives we may have had in countless star systems, we are equal in the eyes of the Creator. Libra, Sun, equality, we're balanced. The scales are no longer tilted. It is just now, Justice card of the Libra. The transformational energy of this card asks you to look deeper within for any feelings of guilt or unworthiness, both, that might keep you from fully embracing love, abundance, and joy in your life. Once you can identify it, not likely not intellectually, but through a feeling or a sense, through your heart chakra day, right? Begin to love that part of you unconditionally until it no longer needs to use guilt as a way to stop you from embracing the magnificence of your being. It took a long time for the Pleiadians to heal this issue within their species. Let their wisdom guide you so that their past suffering and the lessons learned from it can be a gift to all humanity. Powerful stuff. Yeah, guilt is a major force in religions and cultures and family relationships, right? With that Four of Wands is showing the pillar, and sometimes those pillars can be reinforced by guilt, where it's like you have a duty, and it's like duties are real, but like don't just do things because like you feel obligated. That's not coming from your heart. Sometimes obligations supersede selfishness, and that's a totally different argument. But usually, if you're just doing something because you feel karmically bound to it, it's like really kind of assess that, because you might be doing it from a place of guilt and not so much your heart, but more from like, oh, I should be doing this, in overanalyzing it with the moon in Aquarius. Let's go ahead and get an animal oracle card. Hopefully you're all doing well. I know this is a little odd, setup and such. Hopefully it translates well enough and we all just deal with it. Kind of thing. We've got the chameleon, number 33. Change. Just like I've changed up my setup today today, and I've had to change my sleeping pattern, wake up really early. Change is afoot. The changing of the seasons, right? Page 131, and this is number 33. So 33, chameleon, change. Change is a natural part of life, so resistance is futile. Ride the energies of change and know where you are, or where you're going, then fear will lessen. It is not always wise to just blend in with everybody else. Flexibility in mind and body is advantageous. Do not take too long to make your decision. Libra, Sun, don't take too long to be indecisive. It's addressing the shadow of Libra right there. And with the Aquarius moon, it's saying don't just don't just go with the flow all the time. Like sometimes be yourself, your rebel self. The mythos, the Bantu people of South Africa speak of the way the chameleon was sent by God. The oldest of ancestors, the father of all gods, decided to send the people a message about death. He had created man and had decided that eternal life for humans was a good idea. He sent the chameleon to spread the word. The chameleon, though, was a cautious and careful animal that liked to take his time. He was also a hungry creature who needed to stop for food quite often. With all the stopping and changing color to be careful in eating, progress was slow. In the meantime, God took a closer look at man. He saw him only overly interfering with nature and saw too much fire and smoke, and so became displeased. It's like, this guy's fucking up my avatar jungle. He decided to send a lizard this time to spread the word that men would die instead of living forever. God thought that he would see who won this race of messages, and if it was the lizard, then men would die. The speedy lizard won. The animal chameleons are endemic to Africa, Southeast Asia, and Southern Europe, with almost half of all species found in Madagascar. They range in size and shape, with some having facial ornamentation and horns. Their feet and toes are highly specialized to be able to hold securely to small branches and twigs, and they have a large, long claw on each toe to facilitate climbing. Because of this foot shape, they also have a distinct way of walking. Very noticeably, they have eyes that are unlike those of any other reptile. Their top and bottom eyelids are fused, with only a small space for the pupil. The eye itself can pivot and flex in all directions independently of the other eye, giving the chameleon a stereoscopic vision of a full 360 degrees, which is great for finding prey and for detecting predators. They have a muscular tongue that is able to be extended and explosively released to capture prey. Perhaps the most famous adaptation of particular chameleon species is the ability to change skin color, which they do to blend into their background and also to thermoregulate their temperatures. Dark colors absorb more heat, and light colors reflect heat. Recent research indicates that some species have bones that glow under ultraviolet light, which is believed to be a signaling device between potential partners for sexual selection. The magic. Chameleon magic is one of flexibility and coping with change. So how do we balance the scales of Libra season, right? How do we come into equilibrium and find our balance within changes? Call upon the magic of this creature when you wish to have a successful change in challenging circumstances, and when you wish to know everything you can about a situation prior to moving forward. Getting that eagle's eye vision, and coming from the heart chakra day, but the eagle eye vision of the Aquarius moon. The schematic, getting all the details. Symbology, curled tail, specialized eye, lizard and chameleon side by side, rainbow colors. Status, this is dependent upon species but ranges from least concern to endangered, problems or due to habitat loss. So we've got to be taking care of our animal friends and be stewards, sorry I have hiccups, stewards of reality. Let's go ahead and get an art oracle and a crystal card, and then I will probably just strum and hum. I didn't bring my computer over here, and I don't know, I guess I'll play acoustic because I don't want to wake up my family. Ooh, we got Cindy Sherman. This is an interesting, very Aquarius moon, Libra sun card. Cindy, where are you at? Here she is. She's an American artist. There's an urban legend that Cindy Sherman can go unrecognized at her own exhibitions, even though she's surrounded by photographs of, quote, herself. In sophisticated costume, makeup, and prosthetics, Sherman is the foundation for the wildly different characters, time periods, and stereotypes explored in her most known work, which tends to destabilize expectations of femininity and identity. Destabilizing expectations, kind of being chaotic and rebellious, very Aquarius moon. Sherman shows equal conviction in all of her archetypes she portrays, balance, sun, and Libra. She's not favoring any of them. She shows equal conviction, whether the Hollywood actress, modern suburban family woman, or clown. Her work has been used to train law enforcement personnel on facial recognition in cases of clown impersonation. But it's kind of a bad joke there. So I think what we're getting today is take a good long look in someone else's mirror, is the advice from Cindy Sherman. With the sun and Libra, we have to be mirroring and balancing ourselves through how we operate with others. With the Four of Wands, it was kind of like, how are you in relationship? To these relationships, you're going to get help in your creative genius, and the pillars of your reality are going to be emboldened and fashioned through yourself and others, right? It's a both and. It's a simultaneity. And when we take a good long look in someone else's mirror, we might get a different angle of approach, a bird's eye view, kind of Aquarius moon, but not bird's eye in this sense, maybe just an altered perception through other that we wouldn't get normally, right? And we need to be not be emotionally attaching to that perception. So if it's got like, dust on the mirror, or it's distorted like a house of mirrors or whatever, like we aren't like thrown off by that and taking it like, well, maybe we'll be like, oh, that's how they see me, or oh, that's how I look to others in this situation. Kind of getting that objective view. And we have many selves, right? We have many versions of ourselves. And it's even almost looks like that's balanced. This is like a Libra scale, balanced, two of these. And the space of Aquarius moon. So what we need to be doing is understanding that we're here to reflect ourselves through each other. And there's information we can get through that reflection process that we're not going to get through just musing about ourselves or, genuflecting self-reflection. That's fine. We can do that to ourselves with our own minds and hearts and stuff. But self-reflection externalized is what we do in relationship with others, Four of Wands, where we're trying to understand what we can do to change, right, ourselves. And that's a wisdom that can come, right, as the crone. She's like, I'm independent of reality now, or society. I'm not a mother. I'm going to not reflect that motherhood vibe, right? We might find things in the mirror reflection that make us feel a little guilty. But ultimately, we're here to be a part of the circle of life, that Metatron's cube / flower of life thing going on up there. And we're here to walk each other home, as Ram Dass says. So sometimes that means reflecting into each other in a way that is honest and authentic, but also maybe shocking and revelatory, where it's like, oh shit, this is how other people see me. I mean, we don't always do that, right? So today's crystal card from the stone deck is Amazonite. And the crone is very much an Amazonian kind of woman, right? She's like, I do my own thing, independent. And this goes right in line with the heart chakra day. So you can quantumly entangle with this. You don't have to own it. I don't own any Amazonite, but we can look at this and say, I vibe with it and I accept its energy. We're quantumly entangled, so the scientist tells us. Amazonite, what it is. Amazonite is a brilliant blue-green mineral named after South America's famed river. The best Amazonite comes from Colorado, where I'm from, and going to drive around, hence me doing this early anyway. Who needs it? Teeth grinders, anyone struggling with Mercury retrogrades, maybe even Mars retrogrades. Where to put it? Place Amazonite below the throat, relax your jaw, and ask for the courage to speak your truth. Right? That's very much in alignment with Aquarius moon, where it's like, I need to speak my truth, but doing it in a balanced and beautiful way. Libra sun. Don't just rip other people to shreds. Try to do unto others, right? Because that's the whole point. Namaste is like, you are me in the catch-all akin. Like we're each other in different forms at different times. So let's treat each other well. And there's lessons through all the colors and variations of this kind of experience called life. But there's better and worse ways to do that ultimately. It's all good, but we have a responsibility to kind of operate through love, through our heart chakras, right? It's on Anahata Chakra Day. When to use it? When your inner child wants a real talk with you. Ask yourself what little you really want from life. Ask yourself what little you really wants from life, like the mini-me, your inner child. Does it sound like what current you would want if you could just let yourself want it, if there was no guilt, right? If you weren't guilting yourself and kind of minimizing and maybe distracting yourself through emotional disconnect, this would be the shadow of the Aquarius moon, where it's like you're just like, I don't deal with these emotions, I'm out of here. Like maybe your inner child has been left behind. And it's like, hey, I've got some needs and you're not meeting these needs. So with the Libra Sun and Libra and Mercury, we could talk with our inner child from our heart space and come into a greater understanding of what our needs truly are, subconsciously and otherwise. Does it sound like what your current you would want if you could just let yourself want it? Perfect. Now say it out loud for the whole universe to hear and go make it happen. It says speak from your heart. Once again, going in line with the heart chakra, right? So, and even Cindy Sherman is saying there's many versions. It shows even like a crone, maiden, and the mother, which is the virgin, the maiden, the mother. I'm fucking up the whole thing. There's a triplicate with the whole situation, but we got the crone. This is about coming from your heart. She's fully a mother. She's fully a Hollywood actress. She's fully a clown, right? There's maybe the Hollywood actress, maybe the bookworm, whatever. All these versions of herself. We need to be coming from our heart and in our fire, our spirit, the wands for balancing from all sides, kind of grounding in relationship, our pillars of self and other. Because as within, so without, how our pillars are, we resonate with. It's so bizarre, but it's like we have a pillar formation within our own lives, and then that has a place within the greater web, and then that usually reflects at some level that situation. If that made any sense, I'm kind of still waking up. I need to drink my tea. But we have the ability to really come into a powerful understanding of how we operate well with others, maybe even a psychedelic one. There's mushrooms involved, right? Where it's like we're getting this altered kind of, with Aquarius moon, it's the alien, right? Aquarius. So it's like maybe we're getting, it doesn't mean go trip necessarily, but it's like maybe you're getting an epiphany in a way that's very punctuation event, kind of chaotic. Drug trips can be kind of chaotic. It's synesthetic like that. So you're starting to see like maybe your relationship to yourself and others, right? Maybe the stage in which you don't have responsibilities the same way, and it's time to kind of mature, mature and enjoy the ride without a sense of guilt, right? I've got all these cards over. Without a sense of guilt, she's kind of come to a place where she's like, I do what I want, and I know how to use wisdom, and I'm one with the animals in the world and my magic. And she kind of owns it. She doesn't feel bad about not having kids. Right? Changes are coming with the chameleon. I can't hold these cards. Changes are coming on with the chameleon, so know that the fractal of life is always happening, and we are just like the crone is a new stage in the fractal of femininity in that sense. And even Cindy Sherman is showing us different stages, changes the phase of the moon. It's one thing, the moon, but then the sun and the shadow play, the reflection of the sun, changes throughout time. So know that you have the ability to change who you are, restructure your pillars. You don't have to live in guilt or fear or shame, right? And you have the ability to tap into a deeper wisdom, ultimately. Change is afoot, change is the constant thing. So with the change in the seasons we're now in, we just post equinox now, we're in a new season, and even the changing of the colors of the leaves is what I'm about to go see with my family. Change is always happening, but take a good long look in someone else's mirror. Like, see what the changes look like that you're going through other people's eyes. Moccasining, right? That's the Libra Sun and Mercury. Get a bird's eye view, get a schematic view, Aquarius moon, an objective, an intellectualized view if you want from the heart, if you can, couple the heart and the mind, but ultimately do this for yourself and others in relationship, and how we're all walking each other home, like Ram Dass said. So you have to like kind of play your part there. Speak from your heart with Amazonite, so you can come from a place, especially on a heart chakra day, that is going to ultimately come from and end up in love. You can make this long roundabout journey and be like, I love, and try to bring love the whole way. But it's like, I love, and then kind of like get rid of guilt and be like, why am I not loving myself? Because of the impressions of others, the mirror reflection of others, culture, whatever. Maybe there's, a level of you that you are leaving in a certain phase, and you have to pop through that crone place where it's like, I do what I want and I am who I am, and I'm not apologetic for it. I've got scars and I can prove that I've been through life, but I don't need to feel bad about it, right? So let's, like I said, I think I'm just gonna quietly strum, because my family's asleep. Is just about coming into a level of balance, but being yourself simultaneously. Aquarius moon vibe at the end there. So, I know that's a little short and a little odd, but whatevs. Works. Come into harmony with others and yourself. Four of Wands. Bring your spirit to the plate, right? Bring your full self here, just like this Metatron's flower of life. Bring your full self here, Metatron necklace. Bring your full self to the situation. Be willing to be moved by outside forces, right? Getting that mirroring, whether it's from others or even psychedelics, because that's essentially you cutting yourself off and having a schizophrenic moment, or whatever psychedelics are, and seeing yourself from an altered perspective. Come into a power of wisdom. Be mature about where you're going. You don't have to feel guilt, right? It's good to know where you've been, to know where you're going, but to hold each other's hands as we walk into the infinite now, more and more, right? So, but we're gonna have to own, and like sometimes it's trickster energy. It's like have fun, be play. And right now it's more like shed what you don't need anymore. Show up to, me waking up at 5 to do the card jam because I've got to go do stuff with my family. That's mature energy, crone energy. It's not most fun, but it's like getting it done, right? And with like moon in Aquarius, it's about like seeing the big picture intellectually and being like, all right, I've got to do X, Y, and Z to get X, Y, and Z results, and not feeling too guilty about that or getting too attached emotionally to it. Changes are happening, so know that we're being birthed into a new aeon. We're in a fucking apocalypse right now, it would seem. So during this aeon shift, changes are going to be happening: political, personal, societal, economic, spiritual, all the levels, physical. right? We're even, according to Gene Keys, going from ajna to a solar plexus in terms of evolution. So changes are afoot, and that's just how it is. Changes of the moon cycles. One thing going through many phases. Changing of the woman. She's got many faces, though she's one thing herself, right? And once again, going with the uh, theme from Cindy Sherman is take a good long look in someone else's mirror. Four of Wands. Mirror each other and build a higher temple, a higher template through wisdom without shame, fear, or guilt. Right? We're trying to get away from those things ultimately into the change that's happening constantly. Be present during, the eye of the hurricane. Be that center of the storm, and know that you can reflect through psychedelics, through journaling, through whatever. Libra Sun, right, and Libra Mercury, where we're going to be communicating and reflecting well with others and hopefully coming to epiphanies, realizations, and high level truths, Aquarius Moon, about ourselves and our relationship to the world around us. Amazonite is saying to speak from your heart. So if you're going to be in communication, if you're going to be in relationship with people, come from your anahata, come from come from your heart space, and you won't go wrong. Even if sometimes it's a little stiff or cold, it's like, don't feel guilty about that. You got to be you, and sometimes that means changing from the expected roles to what the pillars in your life that you need to be, right? It's a great Stereolab song, Need to Be. Take a good long look in someone else's mirror, so get better perspectives, even if the other mirror is mushrooms. So scry away in the mirror of reality, right? And speak from your heart, Amazonite. So hopefully that makes sense. No podcast today. And if you want a reading, hit me up. All things are going pretty well considering. I just watched that the Social Dilemma documentary about social media. Interesting. I don't agree with all the presuppositions, as they were pretty much materialistic, reductionists, and humanists ultimately, which is fine, but that's not trusting in systems or timelines outside of us. So it's very kind of paranoid and desperate, but it makes sense coming from that position. It's good, well worth watching if you want to kind of get woke on how we're programmed by our tools. As Marshall McLuhan would say, the tool shapes the tool user as much as the user shapes the tool. So make sure that we're kind of walking each other home well and using tools, even if it's mushrooms, to create the highest level of balance, order, clarity, maturity, not from a place of guilt and fear, but from a place of power and integrity, right? Them changes, they happen. It's real out here. Reflect in others and be willing to see what maybe they see in you, as opposed to what you presuppose that you are in their eyes. That's what Cindy Sherman is telling us. And then come from your heart, speak from your heart. Hopefully that makes sense. Adios, and have a good Saturn's day.